Please don't lie. Hey everyone, this is the Movie Maniac. Thank you for watching, and today we're going to talk about The Batman. Let's just get to it. It features the Bat, the Cat, the Penguin, and the Riddler. First up, Robert Pattinson as the Batman. Good Batman. He really does get this role right. I'm not a fan of his Bruce Wayne, and I'll tell you why. Because as Batman, he's kind of brooding and moody, and as Bruce Wayne, he's brooding and moody. Bruce Wayne can have his persona, and Batman can have his. They're like the same here. So, awesome Batman. Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. She did a really good job here. I enjoyed her every time she was on screen. I think she was totally serviceable in this world, and I would like to see her again. Colin Farrell as Penguin. Like, the guy went under a huge transformation to play this character. He was so good. The biggest problem is we didn't really have enough of him, to be honest. Paul Dano as the Riddler. He absolutely nails it. This movie is deliberately copying David Fincher's Seven. Seven is one of the best movies of the 90s. It's a great film. If you know it, you've already predicted how this movie is going to go. The Batman reminds me a lot of that copying homework meme where it's like, oh, just change it up a little bit so nobody else will notice. And it's like so obvious to me. Unfortunately, I predicted like where a lot of these characters were going. The voiceover in the beginning where we see Batman and he's explaining his impact on the city and like what he's doing, I think that was terrific. I mean, that was all great. Again, the first hour of this movie, they really nailed down. And this kind of gets to a larger point too about the runtime. 3 hours. There's no reason for this movie to be 3 hours. They could have rewritten the second half of this film and condensed it, and I won't give any spoilers away because I could tell you exactly what they could get rid of and what they could include, and it would have been so much better. It was about an hour and a half into the film where I realized, you know what? I just want a Batman movie. That's pretty much all I want at this point, because you could tell that it was veering so far off into wanting to be Seven. Batman's one of my favorite superheroes of all time, spanning Marvel, DC. You know, when you get down to that top 10, or top 3 probably with him, he's one of my favorite superheroes. Yeah, I just don't think this is the take that I want to see. Apparently a lot of people do. Good for you if you're one of them. But for me, like, this has so many missteps along the way. There's scenes like where the Penguin at one point is like briefly, momentarily tied up in his hands and legs, and he's like hobbling out like, hey, untie me! And you're watching this super serious movie that wants to be R-rated, but it isn't. And then this comedic scene comes in that feels like it's out of a Tim Burton movie. And it's just, what? This tonally, there's some stuff in this movie that doesn't match. There's a character tease at the end of this movie. I won't give away who it is. And I hate it. Like, it's so out of place. And they, oh man, I was so cringe. It was embarrassing. I'm sorry, guys. I know there are big fans of this movie. Wish I were one of them. But damn, that character reveal at the end was just awful. Taking the Batman and taking Commissioner Gordon and pairing them up like Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman and having them go through a detective story is a cool idea. You don't need to take 3 hours to do it though, and you can still make it an exciting movie. I never thought I would say this. There were parts in this movie, guys, where I was bored. There were people in my theater that were passing out. You could hear them snoring. There was one guy, he started to snore and the whole theater started laughing. Would you ever imagine somebody ever say that about a Batman movie? Like, I never would expect it in a million years. There are some good scenes. The car chase, God, people told me it was the most amazing car chase I've ever seen. It's fine. It's okay. It's all right. You know, the Batmobile is okay. I guess it's good. But it's just, to me, again, for me, in my tastes, this is not the Batman movie that I would want to see. And I have no real intention of ever watching this again. I'm just trying to imagine when I would get in the mood to want to sit down and watch the Batman again, and I don't know when that will ever be, especially at a 3-hour runtime. Guys, with all that being said, I am shocked to tell you this, but I'm going to give the Batman 6.5 out of 10. This should have been an 8. Should have at least been a 7.5. And once again, it's just the fact that it copied Seven so hard. And I'll just say this too, the climax of the movie, we rush into the climax. After 3 hours, the big bad finale in the final plan, it's like, wow, we just rushed into this. Like, it was like, how did that happen? Hey, it doesn't mean I won't go see the sequel, the part 2. But right now, I have no interest in this. And like I said, about an hour and a half into this movie, I sadly checked out. I looked at my watch numerous times. And what a weird thing. I promise you, I've never thought I would say this about the Batman. All right, guys, so what do you think of the film? I'm going to guess that most of you love it. Sound off below, though, and maybe some of you actually felt the same way, and I'm curious to see how people perceive this movie 10 years from now. Most of you already know the drill, but for those who don't, make sure to smash that notification bell. Like, comment, and subscribe so you can stay inside the mind of a movie maniac.